Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For the final time for today, it's my pleasure to introduce our final speaker to the inquiry room, Mr. Ngan Nguyen, Senior External Affairs Officer for the World Bank in Vietnam. In his role, he oversees the bank's communications, external affairs, and public relations to ensure a strong working environment for the bank in Vietnam. He works closely with government counterparts, the media, NGOs, academia, and young people to build support and create alliances around key issues that affect the country's development. Prior to joining the World Bank, Ngan Nguyen headed the PR department of a large real estate firm and managed the English division of the National Radio. He holds a master's degree in international affairs from the UK. Now, please welcome to the stage Mr. Ngan Nguyen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for hosting me today. I know it's Friday, and your final sessions, and I'm between you and maybe a lovely evening. But I hope that the presentation gives you some ideas of being a global institution, what it is like, and hopefully give you an idea of your future if you want to be a global citizen and being in one of the global institutions. So I was wondering if, okay, so we have a presentation here, and I would just give you a very quick overview of the bank, the World Bank Group. It is one of the institutions that works for two main missions. One is ending poverty, and the other is sharing prosperity. And we are like, a collective of countries. Just imagine it that way. We have almost 190 members. Vietnam is, of course, a member of the World Bank Group. And we have staff from across the world. If you look at the presentation there, we have staff from 170 countries and offices in, like 130 countries. So we are like a very unique global institution, if you look at from that angle. So in a nutshell, the World Bank Group is the largest source of funding for development, but also a largest source of knowledge for development. And we have 5 institutions, although we are in one group, but we have 5 different institutions. The first institution to be established was the IBRD, which is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Do you know when this was established? You have any general ideas? It was established during the World War II. And the name suggests, it's for reconstruction and development. And it was established in 1944. The main goal there was to reconstruct Europe after the war, and people were already thinking of the end of the World War II, and they were thinking that maybe it's time to think of reconstruction. So that's the idea of the first member of the group, the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. And now this bank lends to middle-income countries like Vietnam and other lower-income countries, but with credit-worthy. We have another branch which is for low-income countries, which is called the International Development Association. So it's like a concessional lending window for poorer countries. We have the International Finance Corporation, which is making a lot of investment in the private sectors. So actually in Vietnam, the International Finance Corporation is much more active and has a lot more portfolio, bigger investment than the other two, because right now, the private sector in Vietnam is really booming. So they have a lot of work there. And we have the multilateral investment guarantee agencies, which, as the name suggests, provide a guarantee if, an investor is not sure whether to invest in a country or not, then they would usually look for the guarantee from this agency. And the final institution is the International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute. So, if we have, or if investors have an issue with a government, for example, then they can come to this center for settlement. They can seek, solutions there. So we have 5 institutions, but we really work as one group. And one group can have, the synergies to help a country develop in different ways. Our mission, as I said from the beginning, we have 2 missions. They seem, very big, end extreme poverty and promote shared prosperity. But I can, explain it a little bit further of, what is it on the ground. And here are some of the pictures of our staff. We have about 16,000 full-time staff in Vietnam. We have about 120 staff working in Vietnam. And of course, a lot of Vietnamese nationals are working in other countries as well. So it's not just that the staff here in Vietnam are Vietnamese, but Vietnamese are working, across the globe in other offices. So just a quick introduction here. I already said that, the first member of the World Bank Group was established in 1944. And the IFC was established in 1956. And at the end, 1988, MIGA, the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, was established. So this is our quick history. And this is a glimpse of where we work. In South Asia, I'm looking, the top figure there, East Asia and Pacific, is our region here. And last fiscal year, which runs from July 2001 to June 2021 to 2022, we provided a total of $13.5 billion in grants, concessional financing, and normal financings to countries. And a lot of that has to do with COVID recovery. And what exactly do we do? Mostly 3 things. Development projects. So we build roads, we build schools, we improve urban areas, we help with the drainage system, we build bridges, we help with the rural transport, we help with livelihoods in the mountainous areas. So that kind of thing, are development projects. And in Vietnam, right now, we have about 35 projects in total, with a total portfolio of about existing active portfolio of about $6 billion. We do a lot of knowledge sharing as well. Knowledge is a large part of the World Bank Group, and we do a lot of research, a lot of studies, a lot of work together with the government and with different agencies across the government and with universities and research institutes. To really understand the problem, the issues that affects the country's development. Like in Vietnam, right now we have about 30 research projects going on, and they all look at the different aspects of the country's development and how we can provide the solutions to address those issues. And finally, another thing that we do is we use our power to, really build an alliance and to generate a collective actions around issues that is of importance to the development of the country. So just some examples of the development project. We have been working in all areas of, almost all of the areas that you can think of. In Vietnam and globally. We have projects in finance, we have projects in macroeconomics, we have projects in education, we have projects in health, nutrition, urban area, disaster risk management, infrastructure, transport, energy. So, across all of the development areas of the country. And knowledge, one of the things that we consider our flagship knowledge report, for example, the Global Economic Prospect, which analyzed the situation, the economic situation of the world. We have the Vietnam Development Report, which analyze the key development challenge of the country in the next 5-10 years. And most recently, we have the Country Climate and Development Report, which analyze the linkages between climate change and development and how they are intertwined. If you remember at the COP26, which is a conference by the UN on climate change, the Vietnam Prime Minister made a commitment that we will reduce the emissions of Vietnam to net zero by 2050. And so how the different parts of the country, how the different ministries, how different agencies can work toward that goal. Then we look into that in our Country Climate and Development Report. How much is it, to transition from dirty power, like, coal, to clean power? How much is it? And how can we do that? So that's the kind of the questions that we answer in our knowledge works and, our studies and research. And for collective actions, we really want to build alliances with the different stakeholders, with different parts of society. So, for example, the civil society, parliamentarians, philanthropy, the private sector, the young people. We want to build alliance because we know that, even how big we are, one person, one organization, one agency cannot do everything. So we want to build alliances. We want to organize collective actions. So this picture, for example, is the Vietnam Development Report that we organized together with the government. And we call on all the other countries to come in to provide their solution, to provide their ideas of how Vietnam can develop in the next 5 years and 10 years, what they see, everybody see as the key issues. We invite, global experts to come to Vietnam using our convening power to really help the country to see what are the key problems, what are the key issues, and they provide Vietnam with the solutions. So we really want to collect, we really want to build alliance around these kind of issues. For example, climate change, for example, this is an issue that affects everyone. For example, COVID recovery, every country is suffering from COVID, so how do we recover from COVID? You can share experience, from yourself with other people across the world. So these are the kind of things that we are looking for. In Vietnam, we started we restarted the partnership in 1993. That was when the Vietnamese government wanted the World Bank to come to Vietnam again and to help the country with the development process. And by 2022, we have invested in Vietnam a total of about $25 billion in grants, credits, concessional loans, and ordinary loans. And we have a lot of, as I said, flagship reports and policy advices every year. So these are just some of the pictures of what we do. Before we have a project to really clean up and build up a canal. This is a picture of it, after, just to show you the thing that we do. Schools, we build schools in the most remote and mountainous areas. And energy, a large part of our investment was in the energy distribution and transmission. So we are proud to say that we contributed to Vietnam's almost, universal access to university now. We do urban upgrading. So some areas in Ho Chi Minh City, for example, used to be really slums, but the city asked us to help with urban upgrading and really, upgrade the lives of the people there. and provide them with good living environment for them to have better, living conditions. Nhiều Lộc Thị Nghè Canal, possibly you have heard of Nhiều Lộc Thị Nghè Canal. And in Hanoi, if you travel from around here to Nhật Tân Bridge, for example, then, the elevated way, it's a project under the Hanoi Urban Upgrading project that is financed by the World Bank. So just some example. This is the country climate and development report that our managing director presented to the Prime Minister. So just an example of how the kind of policy advice that we give to the government, at the highest level. Earlier, we have a product called the Vietnam 2035 report. Really provide a lot of policy advices to the country on how the country can, improve its institutions, legal frameworks, so that Vietnam can be a higher middle income country by 2035. And now, if you follow politics and current affairs, you know that the goal has changed to becoming a high income country by 2045, so 10 years after. And now the government is asking the bank again to help to work with them to have another study on Vietnam 2045 to really, lay out a roadmap for Vietnam to become a high-income country by 2045. So we are starting that process right now. This is just another, maybe one or two pictures about the convening powers and how we mobilize, create alliance and mobilize, different partners to really provide ideas, provide financing, provide knowledge to Vietnam for the development of the country. So how can, the young people really engage with us? There are many channels, there are many ways that young people can engage with the World Bank and, through that engage in addressing development issues, addressing development challenges that the country is facing. So we really believe that the young people are playing active and meaningful roles in society, and that should be viewed as, really valuable stakeholders to whatever we do and to addressing the challenges of the country. So we really engage with young people through different kind of platforms. And let me just share with you a few ways that young people can really engage with us and work together with us to address the global and, country, national, and even community challenges. So the first thing that we want everybody to do, not just young people, but I think the young people has really an advantage, is really to be an advocate. To raise awareness around issues that affects the country's development, like climate change, for example. We have some projection that says if by 2050, if the sea level rise by 1 meter, about a third of the Mekong Delta of Vietnam will be underwater. So this is an alarming figure. This is an alarming fact. And really, we want everybody, especially young people, because you will own this country in the future, to really understand the impact, the magnitude of these issues, and do something about it. So the first thing is really to be an advocate for the issues, understand the issues, and raise awareness among yourself, among the community, about this kind of challenges. So other challenges such as COVID, for example. Recently, we had been experiencing about 2 years of COVID, and Vietnam is actually now much more ahead of other countries in terms of recovery. But how can you share your experience of recovering from COVID with other countries, with other people, with other young people in other countries? In our social media platform like Facebook and YouTube, we do organize video submissions, entries. You can do like 1 minute video of how you yourself has overcome COVID, how you recover from COVID, that you can share your experience with others. So hopefully through this kind of being an advocate, we can help everyone to have a better life and better future. Second, you can be a knowledge leader with us. We, of course, as you can see, we are keen to share knowledge, but we are also keen in asking and providing platform for everyone to share knowledge with us and with other people. So sharing, I think, is very mutual. We have different platforms and we have different competitions that we can use to share. For example, the World Bank Group and the Financial Times. I hope you know the Financial Times. We organize a blog writing contest, especially for young people. You can write a blog about how you have overcome certain issues in Vietnam, and then submit it to the blog contest and share your stories, share your experience, and share your knowledge with others. So really, it provides a platform for young people to showcase your thought and to really provide solutions, really provide your knowledge on how to address one of the world's most pressing issues in your area. You can start small, but if everyone starts small, then it becomes big. You can also be a social entrepreneur with us. I think this is something that every young people aspires to. Social entrepreneurs really helping the society, and we really want to support those people. In Vietnam, one of the things that we have supported for quite a long time is the thing we call the VCIC, Vietnam Climate Innovation Center. So we support startups that really helps to address really help to address climate change issues in Vietnam. So if you are thinking of addressing the climate change issue and you want to set up, a startup or, a social entrepreneurs, this can be the space where, we can provide ideas, we can provide coaching, we can provide, support to really market your idea, develop your ideas into product, how to bring that product to the local market and international market. So be a social entrepreneurs and, help together we, do something and to address one of the issues that really affects our country's development and also the world. And you can also be a young professional. Being a young professional is, a good opportunities and good experience to learn from, the seasoned development professionals in the world. Usually, this is when you graduate. This is like an intern program, a 6-month, 12-month program that you can be with the World Bank Group, in headquarters in Washington or in the different country offices. So you will be assigned to work on certain development issues together with other professionals, and to really learn about what's affecting the future of the country, affecting the future of the world. And through this experience, I hope that a young professional can really learn a lot, can really get to know what is affecting your future, and to really think about your career path in the future. What you really want to do, whether you want to help the world working in the development organization, or maybe you want to do it through the private sector, organize your own startup and helping, with the social ideas, or, being a businessman, create jobs for the people. They are all good. So I guess that's a kind of overview of what I want to talk to you today. There are a lot of ways that you can have more information. You can stay connected with us. We have a thing called a Speakers Bureau. Every information about the World Bank is there. And you can connect directly with the World Bank in Vietnam, with me or with other staff at the World Bank. I hope that my presentation gives you an idea of what a development organization, a global development organization, is doing. And so, if you want to be a global citizen, this is one of the things that you can consider. A lot of the things that the World Bank are doing at the global level, but the actions are really happening at the local level. So things like climate change is an issue globally, but a lot of action has to be done, here, locally, at the national level, or even at the lower level, like provincial or community level. So I want to stop here. I thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, comments, and you're welcome. Please.
I can bring a microphone over to you. No problem.
I think there's going to be a lot of questions.
I hope so.
You're the most popular
There you go.
speaker of the day. Hello. Thank you very much for your presentation, and it's a very good overview of about World Bank. And I think World Bank is playing an important role in making the world a better place. And I just now you mentioned about actually World Bank is supporting universities. So can you please elaborate, the projects you are currently working with the universities, and what are the criteria, when you are you are deciding that about determining which project to work on? What are the determinants? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Should I answer that, or should I take several questions? Or totally up to you? Okay. So we have been working in higher education in Vietnam for quite a while, starting with several projects on higher education operation, really to first, to improve infrastructure for higher education. We make investment in the higher education sector on two sides, on improving the higher education infrastructure for different institutions, and helping the policymakers to really help provide a policy that really enable the development of the higher education sectors. So right now we have some ongoing projects in Vietnam. For example, a project to really link the different online libraries. I think we call the project the higher education sector reforms and development, I think. But it really helps, different universities like the Hanoi University of Technology, Hanoi National University of Economics, Ho Chi Minh City University of Economics, Ho Chi Minh City University of Technology as well, to really build up, the research functions, like labs and that kind of thing, and then share the knowledge through a connected system. So we want to help them with, collecting all the resources that they have and put them into a joint, joint resource. So I think the joint resource is available to all universities, but 4 or 5 of the leading universities will be really like the administrator of that. So that's an example of the project that we work on. And we are also working on the thing we call the model universities. So really now we I think it is still in the pipeline, but another project that we've completed is the Vietnam-German University in Ho Chi Minh City. So really we want to, invest in it and build it up as a model university so that other universities can look at that, the governance structures, the different faculties, the kind of curriculum, so that, if you want to, we call it a model university. Maybe it's not in, the model for everyone, but at least, it provides you with some ideas of that. And recently, we have completed a thing we call the higher education sector report, which analyzes the key issues in higher education sector. And we provide that kind of policy advices to the different stakeholders in Vietnam, like the Ministry of Education and Training, like the National Assembly, so that they understand the key issues from our perspective, and also provide suggestions of what kind of things that could be done immediately and in the long term to help the higher education sector. I think we are also planning to provide support to some other universities, like the Hanoi University of Economics. We are having we're planning a project to really build up another center, a research center there, but still it is in a planning stage. So these are kind of things that we work with, the investment project and some of the research project. But we are also working with the universities, especially with lecturers and researchers, to really look at issues and reports and studies like what we presented. Usually we, for one, like major or flagship report, we gather a team of different researchers coming from different backgrounds that are relevant. So it's not just that the bank staff that work on the study. That's usually a group of people that are considered as experts in the area, and a lot of the experts are really in the higher education sectors, like in the universities and in the research centers. So that thing what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing in the comprehensive detail. And I can see that World Bank is quite interested in the infrastructure building of the universities and also think tank providing reports. And I'm also quite interested in the VGU, the investment in VGU. So because you say you invest in the university, does it mean that World Bank is also a shareholder of the university?
Not really. Our investment, as you can see, comes in the form of grants, concessional lending, and normal lending. So the government is actually the owner of all the projects that I mentioned. The government borrow from the bank, or get the concessional lending from the bank, or get the grants from the bank. So we are the financier. We are a bank in a sense, right? But of course, there's a lot of things that we are not like a commercial bank. But, still there is a bank in the World Bank, right? So we are the financier of the project. Usually we would want to find the most, like the cheapest financing way possible for the country to fund, their development project. So it's all owned by the government, but we are the financier. We finance and the government eventually have to pay for all the financing, but gradually and usually it is with a much cheaper rate than if you have to go out and borrow from the financing market out there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to ask a question?
I earlier told Dr. Marisha that we from time to time host students coming to the bank office. Unfortunately, we are still in a kind of post-COVID period. So we are not able to welcome students to our office, but I really hope that we can welcome you to our office, take a tour around and see the staff there, see the things that we are doing in reality, rather than just hear me talking. So hopefully I can. This is like an open invitation to all of you if you want to come to the bank office.
On behalf of all of us, Ngan, we are so happy to have you here and to be finishing the sessions for the day. It's really important that we always remember what we're all here for, to give back. And thank you so much for coming and sharing your expertise and just imparting some of the wonderful projects that the World Bank are doing. So thank you so much, Ngan.
Thank you so much for having me. I think apart from Dr. Marisa said, really we want and we need to give back. I think we also want, at least me personally also want to give forward. So if there is anything that I can help you personally or, at the bank, then I'm willing to do that. Just to, not really, just to add, personally, I'm also a mentor for some young people because I used to benefit from the chevening program, the UK, scholarship program, and so we have a group that we really wanted to, pay back and, or pay it forward, whatever you call it. So there's a group of mentors. If you go to Facebook and call, the chevening mentorship, then we really help young people to find their own career path, find their passions, and if you have a goal, then and you don't know how to get there, for example, then this is something that you can also do. So yeah, if you have any burning issues or otherwise, thank you so much for having me.